Some goodbyes don't explode. They don't arrive with shattered plates, harsh words, or dramatic endings. Sometimes they come as a soft murmur that tells you the relationship has already slipped away. That night, she didn't raise her voice or shed a single tear. She only breathed out a quiet, almost fragile, "Not tonight, don't hold me." And in that moment, something in me sank. I lay beside her, eyes fixed on the ceiling, feeling the weight of a silence that had been growing for months. I didn't argue, didn't plead, didn't ask why. I just let the distance settle like a cold fog between us. There was a time when we weren't like that. We used to be the couple that made strangers smile, hands intertwined, teasing each other in grocery store aisles, finishing sentences without thinking. She used to cup my face and kiss me with a kind of urgency, like every second mattered. I used to wake up to her fingertips brushing against my jaw, her sleepy voice promising, "Stay with me forever." Funny how the same mouth that once begged you never to leave can later ask you without words to stop trying. We built a life, nothing extravagant but stable, gentle, familiar. I thought that steady love was enough. But routine isn't love. Love is showing up, looking up, caring enough to notice when the other person is hurting. Somewhere along the way we both stopped noticing. We became too tired to argue, too stubborn to repair anything. The couch became a quiet battlefield, two people scrolling in opposite worlds. Dinner became tasteless conversations. Nights became back-to-back silence. We weren't fighting, we were fading. I remember sensing the shift long before I admitted it. It was in the way she no longer kissed me goodbye, the way her body stiffened when I touched her, the way her smile dimmed before it even formed. I kept making excuses, stress, long days, life getting heavy. So I tried harder, her favorite snacks, small gestures, gentle questions. But all I got were distant looks and answers that felt like they were meant to end the conversation, not continue it. She was physically next to me but emotionally miles away. Then came that night, simple, quiet, devastating. I reached for her under the covers, not with desire, but with the last trace of hope. She shifted away, softly but unmistakably, and whispered those words, "Not tonight." It wasn't the rejection that hurt. It was the truth behind it. She wasn't overwhelmed. She wasn't stressed. She was finished. And I finally heard it. I turned toward the wall, heart racing with the kind of clarity that leaves you breathless. I realized I wasn't someone she leaned on anymore. I was just someone occupying space. I didn't sleep. I lay there replaying the years, our early dates, her laughing so hard she couldn't speak, our road trips where we sang old songs terribly, the night she cried in my arms after losing her mother and told me she felt safe with me. When did that safety disappear? When did I stop reaching for her in the right ways? Or when did she stop wanting to be reached? Maybe it wasn't one moment. Maybe it was hundreds of tiny ones we ignored. By sunrise, I quietly got out of bed. She stayed still, either sleeping or pretending to. I looked around the room we made together, the paint we argued about choosing, the photos we picked out on a rainy weekend, the little corner where her morning coffee always sat. Everything felt familiar, but none of it felt like ours anymore. I packed a small bag, just enough to leave without making noise. No letter. No last confrontation. No attempt to force something that no longer existed. Before walking out, I glanced at her one last time. She didn't look heartbroken or relieved. She just looked empty. I didn't feel anger. Just acceptance. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for each other is step away. I leaned close and whispered, "Goodbye." I don't know if she heard. She didn't move. Outside, the morning looked exactly the same. But something inside me had shifted forever. Months have passed. Some nights I still replay that whisper, the moment everything quietly unraveled. People think heartbreak is loud, but sometimes it slips in softly, a quiet goodbye between two people who stopped meeting in the middle. I still love her, not in a way that makes me want her back, but in a way that honors what we once had. She held me together for a long time. But even the strongest bond weakens when it stops being nurtured. Not all love stories end in betrayal or storms erupting. Some end in silence, in distance, in the realization that warm beds can still feel freezing when the hearts inside them drift apart. She said, "Not tonight," not out of cruelty but because she couldn't pretend anymore. And the next morning I whispered, "Goodbye," not out of resentment, but because I finally understood what she hadn't been able to say. If you've ever watched someone quietly slip away from you, you know this isn't a story about blame. It's about learning when to release the hand of someone who has already let go. Because no matter how much love you carry, you can't keep a relationship alive alone.